Recognize Mr. Stubbe.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Houston, a growing issue for seniors is the taxation of Social Security benefits, particularly after the past two cost of living adjustments, or COLAs, which caused many seniors to pay taxes on their benefits for the first time. I have one of the most elderly districts, if not the most elderly district in the country, so obviously this is a big issue to the constituents in my district. Can you provide us some background on this policy, when it was established, how many beneficiaries did it affect then, and how many does it affect now?
Right, thank you. The provision to tax a portion of Social Security benefits was one of the recommendations made by the Greenspan Commission and was then included in the 1983 Social Security amendments. At the time, the Greenspan Commission estimated that about 10% of beneficiaries would be affected by it. And as you know, as wages increase over time, as COLAs are applied to benefits and made payable, Social Security benefits generally increase. So since the thresholds for someone to be subject to taxation of benefits are fixed in statute, as benefits increase, more and more people then become subject to that tax. The most recent data we have available suggests about 50% of beneficiaries are now affected by that. And at the time, that was part of the congressional intent, is that eventually all people, in theory, would be subject to that tax with growth in benefits.
So as close as you know, as we sit here today, it's about 50% of beneficiaries?
Correct.
Okay. Dr. Swagel and Mr. Gross, this is, both of you guys can answer. Can either of you speak to the proportion of program income that is derived from the taxation of benefits? Is that proportion expected to grow or shrink over the next 10 years, and why?
I mean, I can say that we have about 4% of beneficiaries are paying the tax today, and that's rising. We have it up to 6% in 10 years, and then up to 11%. And it's as you said, the threshold is fixed in nominal terms, and there's real income gains. So it's rising. I don't have the exact dollars, but it's as you said, it's becoming a rising share of people and of dollars.
Could you get me the exact dollars? I mean, I don't need
Sure,
it right now.
Sure, we'll get you the exact.
Do you have them, Mr. Gross?
Yeah. If I may, I believe what Dr. Swagel meant was the proportion of total income to the program. In 2022, the proportional of total income to the program from taxation of Social Security benefits for OESDI was about 4%. In 2027, we project that will go up to about 5.2%, 2033 about 6.5%, by 2050 about 7%. As Barry indicated, this is really simply because of the fixed $25,000 for single returns, $32,000 for joint returns thresholds on AGI plus half of benefits.
Yeah. Now I should just say what Steve has said is not quite right under current law, because he's assuming that the Congress will take action to change the indexation of tax thresholds. So this is why we have slightly different numbers. And because we assume current law, and the trustees are assuming that Congress will take certain steps.
If I may, Phil, we assume current law for the Social Security Act. However, by constructive obligation, as any accountant will tell you, we have to take into account other things that might occur. The Congress has always made changes to the income tax structure. If they had not, we'd all be in the top bracket. Every single person. So we expect that there will not be that kind of bracket creep indefinitely, and that changes will be made over time. We do reflect that. And by the way, we projected really since the very beginning that we would start at about 10 to 20%. We're now up a little less than 50%, we believe, of our beneficiaries, per what we heard from the Office of Tax Analysis at Treasury. And we've been projecting all along that it would reach up at about 60%. Because, of course, a good number of the beneficiaries will receive sufficiently low income that they will not even meet the zero bracket and therefore have to pay taxes on their benefits.
Okay, so I'll open this up to any of you that want to comment on this. So how can we give seniors more predictability about the taxation of benefits so they know what to expect, when to expect for planning for their future? I know you may be anticipating Congress to take certain action. I'll open it up in the 30 seconds I have back to anybody to comment on the predictability for the seniors.
Well, I would just say that as long as Barry indicated, people understand the 25,000 and 32,000 thresholds, and that eventually, simply because of inflation over time, earnings, prices, and benefits will all be rising. Eventually, we're going to have a much greater share of our beneficiary population with MAGI, that's modified adjusted gross income, exceeding these thresholds and therefore have some liability on their taxes. So we should do that If you all had a desire to stabilize or reduce the percentage of people that will have income tax liability on their benefits, that could be done by statute, by simply raising the 25 and 32,000 levels. So it's really a choice.
Thanks,
And
my
that's-
time's
that's-
expired.
That's what the baseline is showing you, is what current law is, and our projections are showing you current law as opposed to assuming certain changes in the future law.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next to the